Hey, what's up guys? It's George here, the remote seller. A very good way to scale your business is to use a prep center. So picture this, you just started selling on Amazon not too long ago. You're doing all the prep from your home, either your garage or your apartment or wherever. Your business is growing, you're pushing past 1,000 units a month. You want to scale, you want to grow. So what are your options? You don't have enough room to do it from your home anymore. You can get a warehouse, yes, but what does that mean? You have to do a lot of things. You have to buy or rent out a warehouse. You'll need to get some office space. You'll need machinery or equipment. You'll need to get new utility bills, electricity, water, internet, and stuff like that. You'll have to regularly buy different types of materials. You'll need to buy boxes, poly bags, bubble wrap, and stuff like that. If for some reason you're not able to do the prepping yourself, you'll have to get employee or employees maybe. In most cases, for it to be worth it to move your whole operation into a warehouse, you'll probably need to be selling more than 10,000 units a month. That obviously depends on the cost of the rent, the warehouse, your employees, and stuff like that. So the best option, in my opinion, is to go and use a prep center. In fact, I used a prep center from the moment I first sold on Amazon 5 years ago. I was selling in the US, even though I live in Australia, and basically it was my only option. I had to use a prep center. So I put 100% of my focus into product research and analysis and leave all the hard work, the heavy lifting, all those type of things, the shipment plan and all that to the prep centers. I prefer to be hassle-free, and for me, it's 100% worth it. In this video, I'll be discussing all the things you need to know and what you need to look out for when working with a prep center. So I'll be going through what prep centers actually do, having a prep center versus a supplier sending your products to Amazon, what's reasonable in terms of rates, choosing the ideal prep center, things you need to look out for, and the pros and cons of working with a prep center. And after that, I'm actually going to go through the two prep centers I use. So what exactly do prep centers do? I order a product from my suppliers, and they either send my prep centers boxes or pallets of the products that I have chosen to sell on Amazon. So what do prep centers actually do with my products? They'll firstly look at the products one by one, and then they'll determine if it's the right product that I want on Amazon. The supplier may have sent me a 4-ounce where I was expecting the 8-ounce or the 16-ounce. They might send me the orange flavor when I was expecting strawberry, for example. So they make sure it's the right product. Then they'll determine what Amazon needs from them in order to get the products sent correctly to Amazon. For example, it might need poly bagging, it might need bubble wrapping if it's made out of glass, things like that. If the item's a multi-pack or a bundle, they'll arrange for that too. Then they'll print off the FNSQ associated with your Amazon account. They'll label the products and the boxes and then organize delivery to the Amazon's warehouse, the fulfillment center basically. Next is actually handling returns, okay? So a lot of items are considered unfulfillable by Amazon and they say they have to discard them, okay? What my prep centers actually do is they get these products and they look at them and they determine, are they actually unfulfillable? Because if they are fulfillable, that's money left on the table. You don't want to miss out on those opportunities. So that's another important thing that you want. You want a prep center that can actually handle returns. So it's actually very convenient stuff, basically what a prep center offers you. I use them on a daily basis and it saves me so much time and it's allowed me to really scale up my business. So next is prep centers versus suppliers sending the products to Amazon. I've had suppliers send my products straight to Amazon, and to be honest guys, it's been a total disaster. They've mislabeled the ASINs and I've had customers complaining to me that they've received the incorrect products. Very, very annoying and leads to bad reviews. In another instance, I had a whole shipment not arrive at all on Amazon. It got lost completely. $4,000 worth of products completely lost. Very hard for a new seller. Miraculously, it appeared 3 or 4 months later, but these types of mistakes have never happened to me when working with a prep center. I could maybe trust a supplier to send one single ASIN to Amazon. That might minimize the chance of mistakes happening, but on the whole, I'd rather have a pro do it. I'd rather have a prep center working on this. In terms of rates, anywhere between 60 cents and $1 per ASIN is kind of reasonable. So some prep centers have a minimum shipment order. So they might say they want $100 worth of work for them to actually, deal with a shipment. Now, in my opinion, this isn't a complete red flag, but you'd rather deal with someone that, doesn't have this minimum requirement. One very annoying thing is a monthly fee. I wouldn't accept that. I think it's a red flag. You should probably avoid any prep centers that say that you have to pay a minimum of $40 a month to work with them. No, you need to pay them when they do the work. So most prep centers charge you a bit more if the product is either oversized or it needs bundling or it's a multi-pack. If it might need something like bubble wrap, poly bagging, so expect a bit extra. It might be 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents extra for all these types of things. Another very annoying thing is when prep centers charge you for every little extra thing, like unloading a pallet, loading a pallet, storage fees, pallet forwarding, stuff like that. I feel it's unreasonable. Extra fees should be limited to poly bagging, bubble wrapping, bundling, things like that. Everything extra is a bit over the top for me. So next, choosing a prep center. So obviously one of the most important things when choosing a prep center is that they have reasonable rates and that they don't make mistakes. But another super important thing is also their location. I work with suppliers all over the US. The majority of them are on the coast, so either the East Coast or the West Coast. So even though I've worked with many prep centers, probably more than maybe 10 or 15, I've narrowed it down to 2 that I work with. One's on the East Coast and one's on the West Coast. The one on the East Coast is in New Jersey, so it's very close to a lot of my suppliers on the East Coast. And the other one on the West Coast is actually in Utah. Now, the reason why I've opted to go for a prep center in Utah and not California is that the fulfillment centers in California have absolute horrendous inbound time. So sometimes your shipments can be stuck there for 3 to 7 or even 10 days. Whereas it might take me an extra day to send my products to Utah to actually deliver it, have it sent by the supplier to the prep center. But the fulfillment center is very close and it gets inbounded so much quicker. So I'll save time on the whole. It's actually very good in this situation. For anyone interested, I've put the details of the prep centers that I work with in the description below. Another thing that you should look for when working with a prep center is the ability to negotiate prices. So just as you might pick up the phone and call a supplier and say, hey, if I do a bulk order, can I get the price down on these products? You should also try to negotiate better prices with your prep center. So you could say, for example, hey, if I send you 5,000 units a month, can I get a better price? Or for example, if I send you 240 units of a certain ASIN, can I pay 80 cents, instead of paying 80 cents a unit, can I pay 70 cents or 60 cents? Is that something you're open to? You'll find that a lot of times they'll be interested in working with you because just like suppliers, they want business. And if you can guarantee them that you're going to be a good customer for them, a loyal customer, they'll want to work with you and they'll want to offer you better pricing. And then more importantly, you want a prep center that does the job right. If a product needs poly bagging, you don't want them to skimp on that and not do it. So, because the products might arrive to the customer broken, damaged during transit, and that's money lost. Even though you get the refund eventually from Amazon, you still have to pay the FBA fee. So that's money lost. So you want them to do the right thing. You want them to do the job correctly, that you want them to take care of it. And I've obviously worked with, between 10 and 15 different prep centers, and I've narrowed it down to these 2. That's why I'm recommending these guys to you. In regards to taxes in the prep centers, now, firstly, I'm not an expert, but this is my understanding of what the situation is. So if you're in wholesale, there's nothing to worry about sales tax in terms of where your state, where your prep center is located, which state. But if you're doing online arbitrage, it's a bit of a different story, okay? So depending on where your prep center is, you're basically buying these products at retail value. So you are going to have to pay the appropriate sales tax according to the state you're having these products sent to. So if you have a prep center in California, for example, where the state tax I believe is around 10%, I'm not too sure, it might be a bit lower than that, I'm not too sure. You're going to basically have to pay an extra, 8% or 9%, whatever it is, on the retail product that you're purchasing. So you have to consider that. You have to keep that in mind when you're doing online arbitrage. That only applies to online arbitrage, not wholesale. You want your prep center to have a very smooth process in terms of submitting shipment plans to them. Now, like I said, I've worked with many different prep centers in the past, and I can tell you that they all operate differently. You want to work with a prep center where the process of letting the prep center know which items are arriving and which ASINs they belong to on Amazon is very easy. So the less friction, the better. You also want to work with a prep center where there is an open line of communication, where you can message them and get an instant response, or a response in very little time. So that's why I can confidently recommend the 2 that I'm affiliated with in the description below. So what are some of the pros and cons of working with a prep center? So one of the biggest pros, in my opinion, is no heavy lifting. You can keep your hands clean and leave all the hard work to a prep center. Then another thing is you don't need a warehouse or an office. You don't need to rent, machinery or buy machinery like jacks and forklifts or anything like that. You don't need any special labelers or printers and stuff like that. The prep centers do all that for you. So basically you can focus all your time and energy on doing the best product research possible, finding the best products that are going to make you all the profit, okay? You can leave all that hard work of, sticking and unsticking 1,000 labels onto, for other people. So now we're going to the cons, okay? So in order to be able to keep your hands clean and have someone else do all the hard work, of course, you're gonna have to pay extra. you'll be probably paying on average anywhere between 60 cents and $1 per ASIN. Now, the other con, of course, is when some prep centers get a bit busy, they might delay in sending your shipments off. Whereas if you're working from your own home or something like that, you might be able to do it the very next day. Sometimes when they're backed up, they might take a bit longer to send your shipment off to Amazon. So now to the 2 prep centers that I personally work with. Now, I've left an affiliate link in the description below. There's also a discount code, the remote seller. You can get a discount if you use that. So after going through between around 10 or 15 different prep centers in my Amazon journey, I've narrowed it down to these 2. So like I said, one's in New Jersey and one's in Utah. Firstly, the reason I use them is because they offer great pricing. Now, after that, they hardly make mistakes. Actually, come to think about it, they've never made a mistake for me so far. They're very easy to contact. They handle unfulfillable items, or any returns that's considered unfulfillable by Amazon. And lastly, they can give you advice if there's anything you need to know in order to make the process simpler and faster and more economical. So check them out in the description below. So I hope you liked this video, guys. If you have any questions regarding prep centers or any recommendation for upcoming videos, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.